Hey everybody, guess what time it is? It's movie time. So let's just jump right on into it this week, guys, with this news roundup. The biggest news this week is regarding the third trailer of Marvel's Avengers Age of Ultron. Now this is what I call an Avengers trailer. I really like this one. I'll talk about it a little bit more in the trailers section of this week's episode, but it was awesome. It showed up on the internet on Wednesday after a certain amount of tweets regarding it had been submitted. And starting with last week, character posters and character images started to trickle out. As you can see here, they all look really cool, and it gets me more excited for the movie. I'm really looking forward to this movie, and all these character posters do is just build that excitement. Avengers Age of Ultron is releasing on May 1st, but they will be having a little early showings on April 30th, you know, the 7 p.m., the 10 o'clock, and the midnight. Leading up to Avengers Age of Ultron, there will be a marathon at AMC theaters and Regal theaters showing in order all of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This is awesome news. I would love to go and just sit down and watch all these films in order, but I'm not going to be able to do that because it is over the span of more than 24 hours. I will watch all the films probably a week to a week and a half in advance of the film and just kind of get myself pumped and ready to go for this upcoming Avengers film. And I'm just really happy with everything that Avengers that came out this week. I'm really excited and looking forward to Avengers Age of Ultron. Now, a new part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe is SpiderMan. Sony and Marvel have agreed to terms to work together. And with this, in talks to direct the Spider-Man films is Drew Goddard. He also directed Cabin in the Woods. Drew Goddard was actually also signed on to originally direct the Sinister Six movie as well. In my opinion, he is a pretty good director. I liked what he did with Cabin in the Woods. It was not your typical horror movie. I like how it kind of turned it on its side. So if this were to come true, I would actually be pretty happy with this directing announcement. But at the same time, just announced this week, the Russo brothers, the guys that are next in line to film the Avengers Infinity War Part 1 and 2, they are supposedly next in line for that. They have inked a deal with Sony for a first look deal for, I think it was 3 years. Now, there are many ways to look at this. Does this mean that they are going to be obligated to film or direct some of Sony's films that they choose? Is it that they can present Sony first with their ideas and receive upfront money? How does this work? I do not know. The details of this first look, this exclusive first look contract have not been released just yet. This does cloud up the idea that Drew Goddard is purely the only director in talks for directing the Spider-Man franchise. I do think that this could possibly mean that they have a chance to direct the Spider-Man movies, but we will find out more in the coming months, hopefully. With the filming of Captain America Civil War just around the corner, I think some of these decisions have to be made pretty soon. Wow, and I didn't even realize this when I was making my notes for this week's episode, but this week is almost it's pretty much a pure Disney week. It's all Disney movies this week. Disney is producing the live-action Beauty and the Beast film. I already spoke about how Emma Watson is gonna play Beauty Belle in the movie Beauty and the Beast, and we were waiting to find out who was gonna be Gaston and who was gonna be the Beast. As of this week, they announced that Luke Evans will be playing Gaston. I really like Luke Evans. He's immensely talented, and he just has this something to him that makes you want to watch what he's doing on screen. I really like him as an actor. And then they also announced this week is who's going to be Beast. Beast is going to be played by Dan Stevens. He is from the TV show, see if I get this right on the first try, Downton Abbey. I don't know, but in America here it looks like Downtown Abbey. And so that will be Beast. Obviously, you're probably not going to see a lot of him until the end of the film when, spoiler alert, he is not the Beast anymore and he assumes his original form. So a lot of cool, interesting news this week, like I said, revolving around Disney. I did not realize that, but this is the news, topics, and stories that caught my attention this week. Let me know down below, what do you guys think of the new Avengers Age of Ultron trailer? Let me know down below. Alright guys, that's it for movie time this week. Remember to click the like, share, subscribe buttons down below. Leave your comments, questions, suggestions in the comments section. Let's have a great conversation this week. We'll see you next time. Peace.